ورأى المجرمون النار فظنوا أنهم مواقعوها ولم يجدوا عنها مصرفا. Suratul-Kahfi, Surah 18, Ayat 53. I think I forgot to mention in connection to the last verse that the construct there was in the past tense verb pattern, but we translated it in the future tense. Why did we do that? I think we discussed this concept in general in connection to one of the previous verses, that this is done to highlight, or this is a construct used in the Arabic language to highlight the emphasis of certainty. For example, past is something which we cannot change. It's certain. It's already happened, right? We can't change that. The future to us is uncertain, but to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's certain. So the emphasis of certainty is what is being highlighted through the use of the past tense verb construct in the previous verse. And this verse obviously is in continuation with the previous verse. And you also remember we talked about the unrepentant sinners, and we'll see something similar. So I'll explain as we proceed. So wara'a, this is the verb to behold. Al-Mujrimuna is the subject, it's in the rafa status, and the criminals will behold. An-Nara is the object, it's in the nasab pattern, and the criminals will behold the fire. So in connection to the last verse, we talked about the unrepentant sinners. So though that was not explicitly mentioned, I had said that this is implicitly implied. So in addition to the sinners, the criminals, so you can think this as an extension of that, or you could think that, okay, what was meant over there was the criminals. So the sinners and the criminals, the sin and crime are, we hear it and we sometimes think of using it interchangeably, but there is a difference. Sin is when you do something, basically sin is against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and crime is against the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the humanity. So that is the difference. So the crime, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He wants to, He can forgive sins, but crimes, no, because that affected negatively certain other human beings, right? Again, for sin also, the sin of shirk, He will never forgive unless you repent. Other sins, if He wants, He may forgive. So that is why we mentioned in connection to the last verse, the unrepentant sinners as an implicit statement over there. And you could think this as a clarification, or you could think this is an extension. Both ways, I'm okay with that. And the criminals, but mujrimuna per se, a better translation is criminals, not sinners. Okay. And the criminals will behold the fire, because for sinners there's another term. When we come across, I'll explain, or we'll explain that in a different place. So wara'a al-mujrimuna an-nara, wara'a al-mujrimuna an-nara, and the criminals will behold the fire. Some translators use the word see for ease of translation. I'm okay with this in this context. But ra'a, I have told this so many times now, basara is to see, ra'a is more than that. So that has to be emphasized in that connotation or context has to be captured. And the criminals will behold the fire. So it's exactly the same thing is being continued. If you remember the veil of perdition, the valley of death, and that approaching them, and the pseudo gods falling into it, and so to now is their turn. So now it's their turn. So that's what is being described, and the criminals will behold the fire. So now this is not a timeline event. This is a causal event, cause and effect relationship. Because of perceiving what they have perceived now, they will realize, so they will realize, so they realize, what do they realize? Annahum, that surely they, muwaqi'uha, they are about to fall down into it. Now, muwaqi'uha, ha is it. It refers to the fire. Fire, by the way, is considered feminine in the Arabic language. So the pronoun referencing it is feminine, ha, which is her. But in English, we translate it as it, not her, obviously. So this is ism zarf, which means waqa'a, muwaqi'uha, waqa'a, to fall. the place where you fall, the time of fall, the place of fall or the time of fall. The time when you will fall, if you want to put it that way. The place where you will fall, the time when you will fall. So, or the place to fall, the time to fall. So basically what I'm trying to highlight is this ism zarf. How do we capture that connotation? They're about to fall down into it. So the space is now fall down into. So the space is now captured and about to fall down. So the time element is also now captured. That is how I've tried to capture the ism zarf connotation. We have to do that. We have at least to try to keep it as close to the Arabic construct used as possible to the best of our ability. So they realized that surely had used as an emphasis because raha, many of the translators or the scholars they have translated to see, but since we have used a term which befits the translation as per the context over here, they will behold the fire. So that gravity I'm trying to capture. So they will realize. So they realize by now. They realize they will be. I mean, again, this is past tense construct, but the same present future tense is being carried forward. The future tense is being carried forward. So once they will behold the fire, so at that time they realize. The realization dawns upon them instantly, almost instantly. So they realize they will surely they are about to fall down into it. No escape from it now. And lam is no, we will insert it at the appropriate place. And yajidu is find. Again, lam yajid is in the past tense, but we will translate it in the future because the events being described are in future events. And again, the same concept of emphasis of certainty is continuing from the previous verse, just as it started also in the similar manner. Walam yajid, they will definitely not find. So the lam have translated not find, and they will definitely not find. Again, definitely per se is not required, but that gravity I'm trying to carry it throughout this sentence. And they will definitely not find. Anha, from it, that from the fire, masrifan. By the way, the word sarf morphology is derived from, the same root word. Masrifan, the same root word is used. But what is masrifan? What does sarf actually mean? To turn. So that is why the patterns change. So the pattern sarf. So that is what we do. Construct different words from the same root word. Basically, to turn or to divert. Also, sarf means it's a concept. It's a concept. So it's a masdar. So you can, it essentially means drainage, drain or drainage. So just as a drainage canal, so or in the modern context, the drainage pipes, drainage canal in the sense, so water is required for irrigation, for irrigating the farmlands, right? But if it stays stuck up, then the food, what is beneficial for the growth of the crops, will become a cause of its perishability. So there has to be a drainage outlet, drainage canal. So similar to the drainage pipes that we have in the modern day homes that we have, the flat system. So otherwise, it will flood. It's multi-story buildings. So sort of drainage, and drainage means a way to escape. For excess of it, there's a way of escape, right? Find a way of escape to divert away. So as I said, must also means to turn or to divert from it. And again, walam yajidu, that's a verb. Anha is there in the jar majroor pattern, and masrifan is the nasab. So we can translate the nasab first and add that emphasis. That definitely, that emphasis also because of that, as well as a way of escape and to divert. Same root word, we are using two words or two constructs, two phrases rather, to explain the same thing. And they will definitely not find a way of escape to divert away from it. So that is it then. There's some interesting aspects to it, but not really very difficult. So we'll read it once more, and that's what we'll do. Wara'a al-mujrimuna an-nara. Or you can read Wara'a al-mujrimuna an-nara. فَظَنُّوا أَنَّهُمْ مُوَاقِعُوهَا وَلَمْ يَجِدُوا عَنْهَا مَصْرِفًا. And the criminals will behold the fire. So they realize that surely they're about to fall down into it, and they will definitely not find a way of escape to divert away from it.